Welcome to the second episode of Mwera Round Britain 2023. In this episode we go from Granton, Edinburgh all the way to Wick, which is almost at the northeast corner of mainland Scotland. I learn about entering harbours in the fog, I see my first dolphins, and I also pay homage to Roger Taylor by visiting Whitehills harbour, which was his setting off point for his Arctic adventures on Ming Ming, his own junk-rigged corrobee. I wanted to get to Wick by the 14th of May, which would be neap tides, and that would be a good time for me to do my first crossing of the Pentland Firth to Orkney. My first passage from Granton was across the Firth of Forth to Anstruther or Anster, and the approach to the harbour is from a waypoint about a mile off, and then you follow a bearing of 20 degrees which brings you into the harbour entrance before you make a sharp left turn. In reality this was a tense, blind approach in the fog, watching out for lobster pots and fishing boats. In reality I could make out the harbour wall a bit sooner than it comes on the video, but I took this entrance part at top speed just because there were waves rolling across the entrance, and just to maintain maximum control and steering I thought it was best to go fast for this bit. Quite spicy.
So I think breaking waves on the entrance. Video stern line. Yeah. Breaking waves at the entrance. Wasn't expecting that, right?
It's great having the harbour master on the pontoon ready to take your lines as you come in after an entrance like that. And it wasn't long before I also discovered the delights of the crew room. Hi everyone, I've just found the crew room which is available to visiting yachties. It's warm, heated, dry, cooking facilities, showers, washing machine, and an appropriate song on the radio. Cheers everybody. Yeah, the next day I carried on to Arbroath around the corner past Fife Ness, where I experienced very violent overfalls despite there not being much wind, with the bow plunging into the waves as we negotiated that. It was another nerve-wracking entrance to the harbour in the fog following the channel, but I got in safely and ended up spending a couple of days there. Got my boom tent out just to keep the drizzle out of the cockpit. I also got my first sighting of dolphins on the way, much more of that to come. Sampled the Arbroath smoky, and I also found time to finish off the Turk's head that I've been tying to put on my tiller. After that, it was time to head on to my next destination, which was Stonehaven. I left Arbroath about 7 in the morning when the harbour gate opened and set off in the sunshine, but not much wind, unfortunately. It was about 30 miles up the coast to Stonehaven, and I did it in about 7 hours. And here I am approaching the harbour. Visitors to Stonehaven are asked to tie up inside the outer harbour wall. But fortunately it's an all tides harbour, so you can even approach at low water. I had phoned ahead and been given an idea where to tie up, and I was pleased to have some long lines, which are old climbing ropes, to use for this harbour, just to allow for the big tidal range there.
Coming into Stonehaven Harbour.
Takes a while to get all the fenders and lines sorted out to the skipper's satisfaction, but with the help of my climbing ropes, I managed to get a good setup, and then tidy up the boat a bit. The pilot's done another good day's work for me. And then I usually then sit down once I've just got in and just write up a few notes on the trip on my passage planning pro forma that I use. So I just take a different colour and make some notes of my actual times and the weather conditions and any challenges I faced on the way. Just put down my log and chart distance and so on. So once I'd done all that, it was time to set off and explore. And I did a lovely cliff walk along to the south. It's always nice to stretch your legs a bit when you've been sitting on the boat for a long time. I walked a few miles south to Dunnottar Castle, which was closed when I got there, but it was just good to get some fresh air and stretch my legs. And I also went into town to check out the steel boat sculptures that I remember Dylan Winter on his Keep Turning Left blog talked about quite a bit. The next day, with 3 days until I want to be in Wick, I pushed on to Peterhead, which is another 37 miles up the coast. It's quite a big, busy harbour, quite strict with their entry requirements, but friendly nonetheless. And I pulled in there for a night, and leaving the next morning, it was a beautiful low sunrise, which I pushed out into as I left the harbour, heading for my next destination, which was Whitehills. And Whitehills is where Roger Taylor was based his set off for his Arctic explorations, so I was really looking forward to getting there. The passage to Whitehills involves going up north past Rattray Head and then turning west into the Moray Firth and heading along the coast there until you get to Whitehills. And there was a northeast wind about 3 to 4, so once I got past Rattray Head I was able to enjoy some nice gentle sailing and a bit of racing with 2 or 3 other boats that were heading in the same direction. And then I came to offshore from the harbour and started my approach. The approach into the harbour is quite interesting. You have to go past the harbour entrance and then come in roughly southeast to come alongside the harbour wall and down a narrow channel heading for the old lifeboat station. And then after 100 metres or so you take a sharp left and come into the outer harbour. If you've called him up, then Bertie Milne, the harbour master, is usually there to greet you and often takes a photo of your boat as you're coming in, which he didn't on this occasion. But he was there to give me a wave.
He's the one that brought me here.
Came in a bit fast here, but fortunately there was a friendly chap who cushioned my impact with the pontoon. I keep on getting caught out by how short these finger berths can be. That's my excuse anyway.
Yeah, nice one. Quite a short one, isn't it?
So there I am in my little berth in the inner harbour, and had a lovely time there at Whitehills. I took a bit of time to rest and catch up, and did some passage planning for the long trip across the Moray Firth to Wick, and also the Pentland Firth crossing that was coming after that. I also did a bit of tuning on the rig. I think I found I didn't have much weather helm at all, and so I wanted to adjust the forestay a bit to just give a bit more mast rake, and did a few other little maintenance jobs and had a walk around the village, and it was very nice to be there. Very good facilities and very friendly harbour master. Roger Taylor's boat Ming Ming didn't have an engine, and so the harbour master was always made himself available to tow him in and out of harbour whatever time of day or night it was. I set off for Wick, which is another 57 miles all the way across the Moray Firth, on the 13th, and I was feeling good. I'd already done my passage planning for the Pentland Firth crossing the next day, and so I set off and decided to go straight through the wind farm, which I believe is perfectly allowable as long as you keep a 50-metre distance from each turbine, and came into Wick. It was an interesting harbour to wander around, particularly these big cardinal buoys on the hard. Just makes you realise how big they are in reality. And I also chuckled at this fishing boat with multiple anodes welded to the bottom. It looked like each time one got worn out, another was added without removing the previous one. So it was quite a patchwork of anodes. So that's it for this video. I've now reached Wick, my stepping off point for crossing the Pentonfirth to Orkney, which is the next stage of the trip. I hope you're enjoying my videos, and see you next time.